Thank you. A call to order tonight's meeting of the Architectural Review Board for the City of Carpinteria. Brett, could you do a roll call for us?
One more time. Chair Blakemore.
Here.
Vice Chair O'Connor is recused. Board Member Johnson. Here. Board Member Little. Here. Board Member Wolf.
Here.
And make note that Patrick is recused. Okay.
All right, and now is the portion of the meeting where we open to the public. If there's any public comment about items not otherwise on the agenda tonight. Seeing no one, we'll keep proceeding. Can I hear from the board if there was any ex parte communications regarding either of these projects that we're going to discuss tonight?
None.
The second one, I needed a clarification. I'm within 1,000 feet of the sanitation department.
Yes.
But in reviewing the statute that you sent me,
Yes.
I didn't see that there are any material conflicts there.
I agree.
Okay.
There is no conflict.
Board Member Wolf?
Yeah, the only thing that I would caveat that on is the findings that are in that section of code that as far as the monetary value of your property being involved in the project, and any property that you have there.
Right, and I don't see how the proposed project would have any influence at all on my property.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. With that out of the way, we can start with the first project on the agenda tonight, the Brown Residence Edition. Cindy, are you taking us through?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the ARB. Thank you for your patience during this transition of Brent and I transitioning to have Brent be 100% secretary. Tonight we've got the Brown Residence Edition. It's a relatively small project, but visible from the street, so that's why we're here, at 600 Arbol Verde. And this one is on the agenda for preliminary, but the details are included in the plan set. So if you guys are comfortable, you could do a combination preliminary and final tonight. So the scope of the project includes a proposal to add a new 127 square foot Four Seasons room and modify the front entry to the existing single-family residence. New open gable roofs would be constructed over the addition and the entry. New shake siding and plaster exterior finishes are proposed, and the maximum height would remain at the existing 12 foot above finished grade. And here's an aerial photo. Arbol Verde is running north-south in this photo, and it does run north-south. The site is here with the orange star, and this is Fiesta. So the house is located right at the T intersection with Fiesta in the Concha Loma neighborhood. And this back here is the Chevron property. And here's the street view. So you can see the existing house over the garage right now. There's the open gable. And then it's got the side gables coming down here and just kind of like long overhangs over the front entry and the section of the house here, which the area here, this is where they want to do the pop out for the Four Seasons room addition, which you'll see in just a second. And here's the site plan. Arbol Verde, the street is up here at the top of the site plan. And here's the area of the proposed 127 square foot addition. And then this area is where the front entry will get a little reconfigured with some new windows and whatnot. And this is the floor plan. You can see it's a Four Seasons room, right? So it's going to have lots of windows. So these are windows here with a 6/8 plate at the top. So nice high windows. And then this is a new window looking towards the entry, and then they're going to new window here, and then replace the doors here. And here's the roof plan showing how they're going to California over the existing roof. And here's the new larger gable over the entry, and then a little smaller gable, or excuse me, larger gable over the addition and entry, and then a smaller gable over the entry. And here's the elevation, so that new open gable roof. So it lifts and lightens the front entry, makes it a little less dark, and makes it a little more welcoming when viewed from the street, which is in alignment with our policies and design guidelines. And this is the south elevation. This is the garage. Here's the new sunroom addition here, or excuse me, Four Seasons room. And this is the rear addition. So on 3 sides of the house, they've already changed the exteriors to the combination of the shake and the plaster and the gray. So the only side left remaining is the front that faces the street. And so they're basically going to make everything match. The whole house would then match with the new colors and materials on the front. And then this is the north elevations. This is the garage, and then the house. And here's the colors and materials. So the roof color, he wants to make it more of like a darker, more gray than this brown color that's proposed. So leaning towards something that's going to look more like these renderings rather than this color swatch here. And that was the applicant shared that with me this morning. So it's not mentioned in the staff report, but I told him I'd add it today. So the issues for discussion tonight are the proposed architectural style and details, the proposed colors and materials, and then consistency with the city's small beach town image. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Cindy. Any questions for staff?
Any landscape proposal?
No, this is structural only. All the existing landscaping is proposed to remain.
Thank you.
Any other questions for staff? No? Does the applicant want to?
Coming up and anything you want?
Yeah, this is when you can share with, come up to the table and you can share with them about wanting to do the roof in the gray color instead of the brown that we talked about this morning.
You don't have to if you don't.
Yeah, you
want
don't have to. It's just,
We won't make you, but typically. Okay. Well, come on up.
Chris tries to talk to Cindy about the color of the roof on there's existing kind of brownish tan, which is not going to match the color of the building at all. So you want to go to a darker gray or almost black if you have to. It's the only thing, proposed change. Front yard's already landscaped. So,
That's good.
I so clear back of shade.
Would you mind speaking into the mic, sir? I'm sorry. Yeah. Just turn on to the green buttons.
One of these?
Got it.
Hello, hello. Okay. Yeah, the front, or the back is shake, the front will be shake. And the sides are stucco. They're existing stucco that I'm just patching and painting the same color as the rest of the house. So there's no change on that. Other than that, the walkways coming from the front door will probably be removed because it's like our sidewalks in our neighborhood. They're all crooked and trippable, so everybody's got to grind them out. So I probably will just take it out and put it back in the same pattern, but it will be some other different surface. But we could talk about that later, I guess. But it's a trip hazard right now, so yeah. It's the only big thing that I know of. You have any questions for me?
That was the next thing. Any questions for the applicant?
I have a question. Is the new roof color, what is the material, and are you replacing the entire roof?
We are in place, the whole roof needs to be changed out. And we're gonna tear off, by the time we're done, a quarter of it anyway, so we're just gonna go with the whole thing. What type, it's comp roofing, yeah, regular composition.
Composite.
Yeah, composition, yeah. Asphalt shingle. Yeah, we call it asphalt. Yeah, it's not gonna be metal or clay or anything like that special.
And is the shake siding wood, or is that
Yes, it's
composite?
cedar. It's cedar siding. It's prefab on 4-foot sections on plywood with a backer board, and then the comps, or the shakes are already on it. So you just put board after board. There's-
So it's not cedar?
It is cedar
It is
on
cedar.
top of plywood. Yeah.
So it's a cedar veneer
No, it's
On top
cedar.
of-
It's real wood.
on top of a piece of plywood?
Piece of plywood, the plywood's there so it's stackable, so you don't have to put one shake on at a time. It's preloaded. Yeah, but it is cedar. Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, it make-
Similar to, so it's a similar product to the hardy shingles, which comes in the 4-foot lengths.
right,
But that's-
but it's real wood.
Yeah,
Right,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
made
that's a
from that.
difference. Okay.
Okay, interesting.
It's all pre-stained and ready to go. so.
Any other?
Stained by Sharon.
Yeah.
Hours of labor on
by
a
staff.
couple of horses.
Well, you use the word shake shingle. It's not really a shake shingle, it's a cedar flat shingle,
That's,
right? Shake is real irregular, rough,
this is regular.
inch and a half thick.
Oh, yeah, not that, no, yeah.
Thank
Don't
you.
wanna get technical, yeah.
I just have a question about, it almost looks like there's two front doors?
Yeah.
Is that side by side? Is that the way?
Side by side, one's an office and supposed to be like a porch where you can open it up.
Ah,
Open
gotcha.
up the room. The other one is the actual
Is the
front
actual
door.
front door. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There will be a door going into the room from the interior that,
So the double doors go to the office, the
Office
single door goes
goes
to the house itself.
Yeah.
Kind of backwards priority.
there's a wall in between.
Well, I know, but still, double doors are more important than a single door. So you would think the double doors would go to the house and the single door would go to the office. It's up to you, I'm just saying.
Double door go to the house. What,
Double door-
some do people
Double
open,
doors go to the office.
yeah, because it's kind of like a patio.
Yeah.
You open up and you can,
Just the way it's laid out. But,
anyway.
okay, have we grilled the applicant enough at this point?
I have one more question.
Okay, hit him.
The side two windows facing the side, do they look into your neighbor's yard?
There's bushes over there. Look, that's helpful, but there's no fence or anything.
So you have privacy?
We have privacy because there's a whole line of bushes on that side.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't tell from the plan.
Yeah, their driveway's over there, so we have bushes over there.
Okay.
Okay, are there any members of the public here to speak on this? Seeing none. Anyone on Zoom?
Nobody on Zoom. Thank you, Chair.
Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board. Board Member Wolf, would you like to go first? We are considering this for preliminary and/or possibly final approval on the project.
I think it looks good, and you're probably going to enjoy that space.
Yes, very much
for
so.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, Board Member Little?
I like the design and especially the gray color. I think it'll look good in the neighborhood. And that neighborhood needs kind of updating anyways. And especially with the raised sidewalks and walkways
Oh,
in the
yeah.
tripping zone. It's terrible over there. So
Yeah.
I really like the project.
Board Member Johnson?
There was a request to verify the fact the utilities will be underground to the house.
Verify that they're underground?
Will be underground to the house.
Well, the water and sewer and gas are, but not. the-
Overhead electrical.
Yeah, overhead electrical, yeah.
And cable TV and all the lights.
Yeah,
They'll be underground.
no. They can't be underground. No, nobody in our neighborhood's underground.
Oh.
There's a big telephone.
You're
It
the
comes
big
from the-
developer, you get to do B first.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was an option, sorry. That would be nice.
It was brought up in the letter,
Yeah,
so
Patrick and
Sorry, but there
verifying
was
it.
a
right.
I should have mentioned that.
In the public works conditions for your project, it does, number 6 is all new and existing utility services shall be installed underground from the closest point of connection or utility pole and completed prior to any paving required for the project. No new utility poles shall be installed. So I would check Richer in Public Works about that condition because it's their standard condition that they put. It was in your completeness letter that I sent out. So you need to talk to them. Usually it's just the service straight into the house. You don't have to like underground all the poles in the street, but it's their standard condition for new construction projects.
To put in underground power.
Yeah. It's. common-
Underground from the pole.
It's common requirement for every new construction, so just thought you'd like to know.
So all the other houses that are being renovated in the neighborhood have to do the same thing.
If they do something.
From the pole into the house. They don't have to underground the pole, but they have to, their service line has to be undergrounded.
Okay.
There's actually all over town, not just your neighborhood.
It might be a little tricky, it's in the backyard. Pool and concrete.
I noticed the
Yeah.
power was on the back property
Back
line,
of the property.
long ways from the house.
Like I said, just reach out to Public Works and get that sorted with them, because it's their condition, not ours.
Oh, okay, all right.
Okay.
How long has that been a requirement? For how many years?
100 years.
Long time. I had to do it.
Okay, would anyone like to,
I'll make a
Oh,
motion
I
for
didn't-
approval for
well-
final.
I didn't give you my comments, but my comment is I think it's going to be a really nice addition, and it's going to do wonders for the house, and you could also consider some new gutters, maybe, in conjunction
what?
with, gutters,
Oh,
in conjunction
yeah.
with the roof.
Yeah, that'll happen, for sure.
But I think it's a good project, so now go with your motion.
I'll make a motion for approval for final.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right,
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
thank you.
Easy one.
Yeah, yeah.
Congratulations on your new underground.
Okay, that brings us to our second project of the evening, the Carpinteria Advanced Purification Project.
Go ahead, you sit there because it'll be easier for you to do your presentation. You sit on this side.
Well, that way I can look up there while I'm doing it. It's fine right here,
You're
yeah.
happy there? Okay.
Are you gonna run that, or?
No, I'm just closing this out and I'm gonna come to this.
Okay, no, this will be
You're,
good.
you're welcome to also come up and join
I
us
can
if you'd
tilt
like.
myself
There's-
this way. Oh, good, yes. Please join us.
Perhaps you've noticed we're a little informal
Aren't you already
here.
undergrounding everything?
Yeah, we are.
Well,
just
most
kidding.
of it, anyway.
If you like the keyboard or just the mouse?
I'll just take this. I'll take that just in case I have to switch back. Like,
Oops, sorry, I think I did something.
That's, all right. That's a good place to start. So, Chair Blakemore, members of the board, am I coming through okay? Yeah. So this is a request by the Christopher Menajan, WSC Incorporated, on behalf of Carpinteria Valley Water District, to consider preliminary and final review of certain elements of the proposed Carpinteria Advanced Purification Project, or the CAP. The CAP is the Advanced Water Purification Facility that'll treat wastewater from the Carpinteria Sanitary District existing wastewater treatment plant and convey the purified water to the AWPF is our acronym for the Advanced Water Purification Facility, for injection wells to replenish the groundwater basin and to be available for future potable use. What we are asking you to do today is review the site lighting associated with the new proposed AWPF, and to look at the fencing and landscaping screening associated with 2 injection well sites. The site is currently zoned Community Facility District at the AWPF site on Olive Avenue, and the injection well sites are proposed to be located. First one is at 1532 Linden, and the next one is at 1500 Meadowview Lane, or adjacent to that property in the single-family residential zoned district. So I'm going to summarize this here. Yes, we're coming up now. So the location of the AWPF is at the existing sewer district, and you can see the yellow buildings right here. The creek, Carpinteria Creek for reference, runs along here. And then we have 6th Street running over on this direction, further over. So the lighting that they're proposing, and we need to get some clarification from the applicant about the locations of the lighting, are proposed to go along the north side of the building, the west side of the building, and the south side of the building. And then there will be entry door lighting down at the top of the doors. Is that correct? On the west side, but they won't shine into the creek. I'm going to roll on to the, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the proposed exterior lighting, right? So we've already discussed that. And the lighting on the east side of the building could impact the environmentally sensitive habitat. And so we're reviewing that right now to discuss how that's going to be installed and at what levels it'll be installed to be sure that we're not having any light spillage into the creek area. As a part of the plans, the lights, perhaps you can clarify this, Chris, is the lights are in certain outdoor work areas would be mounted at 22 feet high. And so if you can clarify, and we can stop at any time you like, so. Ready?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly the elevations of all the lights. I can certainly look it up on the plans. I have my computer with us and can do so.
Okay.
I thought largely the lights were just on exterior doors and not necessarily on the building faces themselves, especially on the creek side. We don't really have a lot of building face. There's some canopy structure there for some of our facilities, but not really a significant kind of building side.
Okay, that's helpful.
Do we have any sort of plan that shows the building and where these lights are going to go and how many there are?
About the building set that we have and pass it on over. If you want to. So it is. Yep. Yes, we do have the plans.
I think you put it for under, they're going to put it under here for number 2.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah, this was all really cool to read, but it wasn't really,
Yeah, it is.
it wasn't really,
For 11.5 by 11.
well, and it's not really our purview of where the pipes go, you know, but,
Yeah,
Well, I
we're
was curious
just
from the standpoint
discussing
of, we
where the
talk about
lights
a
are-
building, but we don't have anything on the building itself.
yeah.
That's a,
I'm still for a second. Yeah, through the chair, there was some discussion about the location of this building because it's not highly visible from any public areas and it is very institutional by design. Nick decided didn't really warrant ARB review. However, because there is exterior lighting on that building and we've got the creek right next door, we did need confirmation from the board that the lights would be night sky friendly and meet our night policies and our creek policies that prohibit light spillover into the creek.
Don't we need to know how many there are?
Or the size?
That would be helpful to know, and hopefully between Brett and the applicant, that can get determined.
Cool.
I haven't looked at the staff report, so I don't know on this one. Did you have something in your presentation?
yes, it's on the screen right now.
That all we have? Oh, just the cut sheet?
Yes,
Well, we were looking for a site plan with photometric diagrams on it.
okay. And I
Do you
don't
have-
have that at this time.
It's okay. You can bring it next time.
Okay.
Do you have that?
Certainly have the site plan on my computer.
Cool.
I thought, the site plan, I believe, was
It was-
provided as a part of the application
It
package.
was, and now I'm not seeing it. Let me see
Would
if
it
I
be
can-
helpful if I ran back to your office and grabbed the cap file? The
have it
big
memorized.
project
You
file?
know, it's, we can bring it up. I'm sorry.
See when
Oh, okay. Oh, that's
It's,
right.
it's up on the,
Okay, so we need
it's
to
in the
end the
drive.
show-
I
yeah.
apologize.
There we go.
We're,
Take your time.
thank you.
Go.
Where are we at?
No.
There we go.
That's still
Yeah,
that
it should
valid.
be open if you go down to the PDF there. It should already be open if you go down to the Adobe Acrobat.
All right.
Yeah, and then
Sorry for the confusion on my part. Let's see.
if you
That's
just hover
not
over
it.
that, all three should pop up. I think it's that one right there. Click on that. That's your plans. Is that what you're looking for, the plans?
Yeah, but, oh, okay, yeah, this is the site. Let me close this. See if I can maximize this. Okay. Apologies, Chris, and members of the board. This is the building that's being proposed.
That building.
Pardon?
It's
You
not
don't-
gonna come to you guys. It's utilitarian.
And this is the, let's see. And so the location of these lights are over these doors. When we move on to, excuse me.
No, they really should
I think they're meant, if night work is required, to come on, so operation, security.
Yeah, that was my question, as to what is the frequency of usage?
Sometimes when we have this situation, we can, at the board's discretion, of course, you can like do a condition of approval or add a condition, because this will have to go to the planning commission as well, that any proposed night lighting along the creek facing sides of the structure be hidden, shielded, night sky friendly, and we can route it to you. Either come back for final or do the, where we just send it to one or two members, by email for a more of an administrative ARB review
And I think
as an option for tonight.
as a part of your motion, you can detail where you would like that to go. So so you can finalize the actual, and we will put that on the condition of the building permit as it comes through.
Presentation.
No, we're going on.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no. I apologize for, so moving on from the light fixtures, we're moving on to the injection well sites. Site number 1 at 1532 Linden Avenue is, it will be constructed on the existing St. Joseph's Catholic Church playing field. And I don't know if any of you were on the board when that came forward as a previous fence, and I think you were the planner. So right inside the existing fence on the southwest corner of the playing field, and just inside the existing perimeter fence is where that will be located. The pad is 5 feet by 17 feet, 85 square feet. It's a rectangular injection well site and would be enclosed by a proposed 6-foot-high wrought iron fence and have 2 4-foot wide outward swinging gates located at the northwest corner of the pad. A new landscaping strip measuring 2 feet wide is proposed, and mulch is proposed to be installed in a 5-foot wide, 20-foot long area between the injection well pad and the existing palms to the south. This is a look from Linden Avenue, looking east, and here's the fence line. It'll be located, this is the corner, it'll be located right here. This is a view looking southeast of the corner, which is right here, and all these wonderful cars in the way. And then here is the planting plan from the plan sheets. This is a zoom in that Chris provided for us. You see the injection well is here. The fencing runs along here, coming into the north heading existing fence. Planting plan that is on the screen, as you can kind of see up here, identifies evergreen, clematis, and pink lady Indian hawthorn as the planting selections in this site. So this is a rendering of the injection well looking south on the playing field at the site. So the injection well here is kind of enclosed within the site. We'd like to get some clarification. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. About this, the green, is it blocking, is that a cloth blocking?
That doesn't need to be there and shouldn't be there really.
Okay.
I clarified that with the design engineer. No, but the cloth, the green cloth fabric, is not intended to be there. Yeah.
So we have the pipe coming through here, and then there's the boxes right here. Is that correct? Yeah.
Going to clarify that the injection well is actually outside of this fence. It's in a vault that's below ground, so you can't really see it.
You can see the manhole lid, so if you just scroll over to the left a little bit. Sorry,
To the
I guess,
left.
so
Yeah.
right there,
Yeah,
that's the actual injection well.
and the cabinetry above ground is electrical equipment, and the pipe is just above ground pipe so that, you know, certain instruments and relief valves can be installed.
Thank you.
So that'd be government grade, the instruments and the electrical housing.
In green color.
Whatever color you tell us.
Oh,
You're proposing green though, aren't you?
yes, I think, and that may have been the reason why it's shaded green in that color. It was sort of an attempt to take what was a tan cabinetry and tan piping and identify it as green, but rather than being selective on where they shaded the green, the whole thing got green. So
Cabinets will be green.
Okay.
yes, I believe that is the,
So that's a cabinet, no, okay.
Yeah.
That's helpful, thank you.
The manhole's outside of the cabinet, outside of the fence.
correct.
Why is that?
It's not required to be protected. Just like any other sort of, sewer manhole or any other manhole in public space, it's not necessary for it to be protected. It's got a, 50-pound,
Okay.
yeah.
Sometimes you go to something related to your project.
Well, it is the injection well, so contained within that manhole lid is our well, but we don't need to protect, so we don't have a fence around it. We tried to minimize the amount of, quote-unquote, permanent take from the church, so we didn't want to enclose the entirety of that area because it just wasn't necessary.
Yeah. And
Double the size of the facility, yeah.
Right.
for history, through the chair, Board Member Wolf, for history, when the St. Joe's perimeter fence was going through, they were in the process of finalizing this design for the well enclosure as well. And at that time, the idea was to maximize the amount of field that would be available for the play area, and then have the fenced area be as small as possible. So that now has the manhole on the outside, which makes sense per the prior conversations.
What is the distance between the fence items, the posts?
The distance between the post and the fence, I think they're 8 feet.
Well, I guess the individual slats,
Oh, you mean
the pickets.
Oh.
They would match the existing.
It would match
fence,
existing,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know offhand.
I was just thinking from the standpoint of it's a playing field and you're gonna get a lot of balls in there, so can a kid reach through and grab his ball and kind of snake it back out?
Yeah, I don't think we have a lot of. That's what it is.
Okay.
And I think our plans simply state match existing. I'm not even sure if we detail out exactly what it is, so that's why I can't be specific with you right now.
So these are the
Okay.
existing wrought iron fence examples from the previous project that we have up now. And the gate that they're proposing isn't 10 feet, it's slightly smaller, but this is the same.
Okay.
Installed it over, let's say,
So if a ball gets kicked over the fence, they're kind of out of luck to retrieve their balls. Or a long stick.
Until they climb over.
Yeah, and we are a ways off the playing field. The line of lights is, yeah, maybe.
It's at the corner, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's a rendering looking west from the plan.
That's one site, this is another site.
Yes. Okay, injection well site. Sensitive. Okay. So for injection site 2, injection site 2 located at 1500 Meadowview is adjacent to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and it's right north of their parking lot. It'll be a rectangular shaped and measure 8 by 45 feet, 360 square feet, and be located in the Meadowview Lane right-of-way, adjacent to the northwest property line. The injection well pad would be constructed within the footprint of the existing sidewalk and landscaping. It would be enclosed by a 6-foot-high chain link fence, and it appears that it'll have a fabric backing with a 3-foot-wide access gate located at the west side of the pad. And perhaps you can clarify whether that's actually the fabric is part.
Yes, so privacy slats are intended for this site.
Okay, so
Oh,
it's
the
not.
slats.
yeah.
Yes,
Not the fabric.
Okay,
Not the fabric, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Is that right on the gate? The gate is on the north.
And carrying on, the landscaping removed along the project site would be replaced, consistent with the planning plan in the site plan. The same types of plants that are being proposed in site number 1 are being proposed here, but also in addition, they're proposing to put in some trees. The public sidewalk on the south side of Meadowview, between the injection well enclosure and Franklin Creek will be removed and replaced with mulch and 3 new street trees as the species are to be determined. Site photos, this is looking west at residential uses and the parking lot at the church, down Meadowview Lane, and the project site is right here. And we go to this photo, and it's looking southeast from Meadowview and into where the church is at here. It'll be right where this car is, essentially maybe a few feet further back. And this is another picture looking from the creek along the sidewalk project area, kind of ends right there. That's where the sidewalk is, and shows the existing landscaping and proximity of the housing. The site plan, as we talked about, the planning evergreen, clematis and pink lady Indian hawthorn, and then the most recently they're talking about installing the trees in this location here. So our site plan is there. Let's see if I can bring that up a little bit closer for you to look at. So here's our pad and fencing. This is the injection well right here.
Correct.
In the street. And so that is that slide. I think at this, let me finish up this portion and we can come back to this for any questions. Excuse me, I'm jumping around because we have the rendition here. So this is looking southeast along the project sidewalk and the existing landscape, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on this. And I guess to clarify on this, I know it's a rendering, and so How will the slats be running in through the chain link? Diagonally, okay, so this way. Okay, so I'm gonna open it up.
Yes. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, you gonna have a power pole with overhead utilities or underground?
All underground.
They got a trench.
Yeah, and the nearest power pole is on the corner, so it's quite a distance.
On both sides.
Yeah, we're actually running, so there's a power pole across the street from the church that we're running underground to the church site, and we're actually going to run power from the church site to this site with one continuous underground run. Yeah.
So is the width of the sidewalk going to stay the same?
Yes, we're not changing the street dimension.
Okay. And just curious why you decided to go with a chain link fence opposed to like the fencing you had on across the street?
I don't, yeah.
I know they don't have to match, but
Yeah, and I think it's, you know, it's a little bit more remote, and so we needed a little bit more security in this site.
then the church is okay with having a chain link fence there.
It's a parking lot.
Yeah, it's behind a bunch of trees. They won't be able to, yeah.
Who chose these sites?
Well, you know, originally we had approached the LDS church
Yeah.
and we're in talks with them, but they just decided, you know, if you look at an aerial view of that, that plot, there's parking lot right behind that proposed site, but then there's a dirt, I think it's a parsonage lot. And we were eyeing that and talking with the LDS church, but they backed out.
Well, it's just to further the discussion is you're coming from the sanitation department all the way up to the church. And I live just close to the area. And you have the middle school with the big field there. Was that not an option to go there?
We looked at it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the
It's a
third,
short distance, that's
the
for sure.
third optional. The middle school, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Canalino. Well, the way that the aquifer works, this is the geology works, this is the place to inject the water. Because we have two wells kind of on either side of this that pump water, municipal water out. And so what we're trying to do is inject, the water will travel and then it comes out. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Get the water from to inject into.
The wastewater treatment plant.
Okay. The wastewater.
Yeah.
So it goes from the sanitary district, goes through the treatment
It's-
process.
Yes.
It's
Goes up
treated existing to,
Back in the groundwater to recharge.
to Title 22 standards that, but currently discharge the ocean. We're gonna take it, treat it further beyond the regulatory levels for wastewater into basically pure water.
Level of sanitation.
Okay,
What does that mean, pure water? Does that mean drinkable water?
Yes, means basically distilled water.
Yeah.
So
No
it's
minerals.
Drinkable water means injection.
It's drinkable, and then we inject it. And part of the regulatory structure is they want you to have an environmental barrier. They are making new regulations where you can go directly into the system, but it works well for us to have an environmental buffer. That environmental buffer is the aquifer. So we inject it into the ground. It runs through the aquifers, and then we pump it out in our municipal well field.
Is that where it's coming up, right here in the injection?
That's where we're putting it down.
Pushing it down into the aquifer.
Right.
Okay.
And the manholes that are in the street are the same kind of manholes that we were talking about at the other project, that they don't need to be protected.
Correct.
And do they go to an open water source down below? Or is it to a pipe?
It's to a pipe that's underground. So So even if you were to lift that lid up, it wouldn't be like an open hole that somebody can throw anything down. It's completely closed system.
Okay,
so-
trying to get back to order here. So,
So
where are
that-
we? We are,
We are in
Yeah.
policy consistency. So, in the discussion of the zoning, zoning requires that fences be found to be compatible with surroundings and not pose a vision or safety hazard. The general plan and coastal plan requires night sky friendly lighting, attractive pedestrian scaled streetscapes and frontage, minimize the visual prominence of utility hardware, decorative fencing materials preferred, chain link discouraged. What we would like the board to consider as a part of this review is your comments on fence design and materials, the locations, the visual impact. We would appreciate hearing your thoughts about that. Proposed fencing and gates are intended to primarily provide security for the injection well sites and secondarily to help screen and soften the views of the utility infrastructure. Then the potential for the strategic use of landscaping around injection well site 1. And then the Meadowview Lane injection well enclosure has presented a challenging situation for staff, and we were asking that you'd consider whether there could be a more optimal screening, because as you're looking at the site, the residential subdivision to the north its driveway comes almost straight out onto this facility. So we would like it if you weighed in on those points. And I know you've talked about the fencing already, so.
okay. I think we'll bring it to the board for questions for staff. Start there.
My only question would be, I didn't hear where the lighting is going to be installed. Did I miss it? Was I asleep?
There's no, yeah.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
Questions for staff?
Just because I'm not clear, on the building, we were talking about the first building, did we table that one? And they're coming back with a site plan with where the lighting goes?
We don't get to talk about the building. We are being asked to provide feedback on the lighting, is my understanding.
Correct. And we'd like to,
Okay, and
clarify that we've already shown that this is a downward facing shielded night sky consistent lighting type. And if you could provide direction on the type of lighting that you would like to see if there, and we will ensure that that's a condition.
How many fixtures are there?
I have a site plan here, so we can look at it together.
I would love to know the number of fixtures, and I believe I saw that they were 22 feet high.
So if we, and this will be a little hard to see, so I apologize because I've highlighted them, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's incredibly easy.
Okay.
Yeah, so there are two on the creek side. So if we look at that building, there's that view that we have.
On that top tab, it says.
Yeah.
rendering. Yeah, the one on the top that says renderings, is that the one you want?
The renderings are,
before, I'm looking, this is the new actual plan.
those, yeah, they're architectural drawings.
Is there an electrical plan in here?
There should be. I mean, I can walk up there and show you if that, is that any at all help?
no.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go back to just talking about the numbers. of the
Okay.
figures.
Go back to the rendering.
Where's the site plan?
Well, there are a total of 9. No. There are 9 lights total. There are probably 3 lights at 22 feet high, and then the rest of them are going to be door height. And then 2 of the lights that are going to be, and this is estimated at 22 feet high, are going to be on the north side of the building. And, right, and then there's 1 garage door facing the creek.
You said 2, how many could be higher?
Well, 3,
And then 6 door height?
and 6 door height.
And the nighttime use of those doors would be how often, do you think?
Under emergency situations where an operator needs to get access to the site at night. Otherwise, the site is intended to be unmanned during the
So
evening
like
hours,
3 times a year.
perhaps. We don't have any lights against that side right there.
Which is facing the creek.
No, that is the west facing. So that's facing the train tracks.
We call that south here.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, fair enough.
If you don't mind, let's go to the, I guess it would be the east elevation, the side facing the creek, and just if you don't mind showing me where those lights are going to be.
So there's going to be one at the top of the big door, and then one at the standard height door. Yep,
So one here,
correct?
That's the
and then one
22
here,
foot.
That's correct.
and those are the 2 on the side facing the creek.
Correct.
Thank you for your clarification.
We've come so far.
What's that little door all by itself next to the tall wall? Next to the cursor.
I think it's a detail.
Looks like he's lost.
Don't worry about it, Richard. Would there be any flexibility in terms of trying to move the fixture that is at the top of that giant door to be at the same elevation as the one that's servicing the pedestrian door? Because presumably if both of those lights were on, you're still going to see everything that you need to see at ground level? And does it need to be that high?
That's a good,
Well, it's a roll-up door.
but you don't need to see the whole door. You just need to see the ground.
Right, but I guess there's no, yeah, maybe I miss, oh, two on each side.
One's over the pedestrian door, one can be at that same elevation just on the other side.
the Yeah.
roll-up door, you still illuminate the whole space without having a light way up high that's gonna blast out and.
Great
I don't know.
I-
Is it an option?
Yeah, I mean, we can bring it back if that's going to be a condition of the decision of the board here.
The only concern I would have, and we're looking all over this.
Yeah.
The only concern I have is that you do have that light that's significantly, pretty high up in the air. It's sort of gonna create a lot of light pollution out there. That's not really helping you see what you wanna see anyway, what you wanna see.
I agree.
I think that could be something in a condition of approval if that's how the board chooses.
We also,
Planning, when it goes to planning commission, they have to find a project, landfill or creek policies as well.
And I
So-
think that would also assist you in that part of the process too, to have them know, I think.
Yeah, there is a 50-foot strip there
Yeah.
between the edge of the building and the creek, and that's part of the creek ordinance.
22 is half of that, so
Yeah.
that's pretty high.
And so one of the things we may have to check is just to make sure that if there are crews working at night, that they have a well-lit ground, because that's, for safety purposes.
So you can get us the photometrics of it, and you can also include in that the wattage of the bulbs.
Yeah,
Even with that 22 feet, you're not spilling into that space, that would be great.
And you don't need to go the whole 50 feet with the lights.
The 50 foot is the creek buffer setback.
yeah, and that light's actually set back even further than that, because of the way the building's oriented.
It's offset.
Yeah,
Okay, Well, you show us that, I guess.
Okay. Yes, we're just doing general questions here.
General questions. Is this the only wastewater treatment plant in Carpinteria? Is this it?
Yes.
So in other words, there's a giant security issue to keep people out. And it's walled,
The existing facility is, yes, there's
very,
fences.
very walled. And so it's, so it doesn't have a site plan, so I can't see that. So it's walled. It's not about, anybody is going to see this really. And this lighting is also for security purposes.
May-
Yes.
They've arranged it to maximize or minimize the potential for there to be an impact on the creek side. And that's what we're here to focus on, is the lighting on the site rather than the design of the buildings or the utility itself. And it's going to be, as we're showing in the first slide, be nestled right inside the existing footprint of the district facility there. So, okay. So if I could move back the discussion to the question of shielding the sites in a particular way that might help increase the blocking of the visibility of the well sites. I'm kind of putting that question to the,
You mean
to the, yes,
the exterior lights?
no exterior lights. I've moved on, sorry. I've moved on to,
You're back to Meadowview Lane.
yeah, we're back to the sites, and we'll take excuse me, let me get the slide.
You might throw it out there that if they feel comfortable doing final conditions, but it's going to be completely up to them because it's here for.
Yeah. Well, and I also
Right,
think we
no,
need to
it's here
make
for
sure
fun,
that
yeah.
everybody's had their
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
questions addressed to make sure that it seems like you still have a question?
I do.
On the lights,
Okay.
okay.
I'm following along the lines of what you're saying about Meadowview Lane, and I think it's about the chain link fence.
Okay,
think what
let me
you're
go there and let me bring it up on the screen so we can take a look. Meadowview.
That was not a question.
No, I haven't gotten to the question yet. I haven't gotten
Okay,
to the
where's
question yet.
this is it? Okay. So we're gonna,
You approve, sorry.
and
Let's see what the question is. We can toggle back to the
Yes.
site plan one if necessary.
yeah, so here's generally the rendering looking from a house, from the back of one of the houses in that site. And in looking at the houses, which I don't have a photo of, there is a 6-foot wall with vegetation shielding the rear of the houses uniformly along the north side of Meadowview that helps to block the view of the site from the back of the houses. And I think you can see that. Yeah, so this vegetation here runs uniformly along the,
We have that.
no, that's looking, okay, here's the site, or this is the housing over here. Let me go to another one. See
No,
if
you don't have a
I,
good angle on it.
yeah. Okay, I just lost my cursor. Whoop. There's one more. Okay, so here's the entry to the housing. Here, this house is yeah, this hedge goes all the way around. This house is facing out this way, and this is the back side. Here's the driveway, so when people come out here, they can see the church parking lot, the utility here. And so, yeah, staff's question is there any input in regards to perhaps adding something to this side to help block it, whether it be vegetation or fencing? So if you could consider that question,
Yeah, and
then-
let's see what Board Member Wolf's question was, and she
Yes.
was starting to ask too.
So the question is, do we look at things that have longevity? Because right in your design outline right there, it said, no, they discourage chain link fences. This is chain link fence. I'm not quite sure why this is here, and if right away we're supposed to be saying, let's put in a more permanent fence, something like a wrought iron fence that will last longer and will look better. Is that appropriate? Can I say that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have the policy that does not allow the chain link fencing. That's for, those guidelines are designed for your typical residential uses. This is a more utilitarian use, so at the board's discretion, if you felt chain link was appropriate, you could do that. If you felt it was more appropriate to have a more durable material, like the wrought iron perhaps to match the fencing at St. Joe's, that's also your purview, because you are the architectural review board, so in charge of the design and how it's going to work with these design guidelines that we have. Or if you wanted to add, say, some vines or landscaping to grow up and hide the fencing, you know, there's lots of choices.
Okay. Are there any other questions for staff or the applicant? Okay.
Well, the wrought iron fence around the church playground is not solid wrought iron. It's tubular. And so the life of that is probably 8 years, 10 years before it starts falling down, as opposed to solid wrought iron, which is totally more expensive, and that's why it lasts longer. So it's,
Is that a
to say it's a black fence doesn't mean it's, well, I'm asking, is it wrought iron or not? And it's not. It's hollow tube fencing.
All right, so I think we will go on with our, is there anyone from Zoom that has any public comment or questions?
Thank you, Chair. Nobody over Zoom at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're going to bring it back to the board and provide comments on the lighting, the fencing, and the landscaping. Board Member Wolf, would you like to go first?
Sure. In terms of your lighting, I think it's necessary. I'm good with it because I do know wastewater treatments. Oh, sorry. Wastewater treatments do need the security and protection. It's probably one of the most valuable buildings in the whole community. In case if something happens to that, we're all in trouble. So I know that for sure. The wrought iron fence protecting both injection well piping, I think should be very permanent and planned accordingly to being there forever. So if they need to be solid iron, I think they should be solid iron. And the same thing for this one on Meadow Lane. It should be a far more permanent material, and it should look good. And if you have, it's a big investment. The whole thing is a big investment. The water system in Carpinteria needs to be protected forever. That's what I think. I think it should be wrought iron and difficult to scale, difficult for kids to jump in, difficult to graffiti, and very permanent. That's my comment.
Thank you. Board Member Little?
Well, I have concerns about the lighting, especially on the creek side. Certainly, if we can bring it down from the 22 feet, provided that there is sufficient light for the workers to work. As far as the fencing at the church, I think I'm fine with that. Again, making it more a permanent solid wrought iron. And as far as the landscaping around it, Indian hawthorn is kind of at least to me, a little worn out as far as the plant. I realize it's durable, but I'd like to see something a little higher to hide the equipment that's inside there. And then over on Meadowview, the people in that complex, there's the streets, at least on Google Maps. I can see that the street comes right out, and right when they come out, they'll be looking at that entire fencing area. So if it could be set back with better landscaping on the sidewalk side would be helpful. Because just coming out of that complex and looking right at the chain link fence, I think is pretty unattractive. And I think even the church would probably appreciate a little nicer landscaping around there as well. But the landscaping I'll leave to Amy as far as alternatives to spiff that up.
Okay, Board Member Johnson.
Sure, I think landscaping at the Meadowview vine-type coverage of the fence would probably be adequate enough to hide the chain link, and which will probably last 100 years, and also make it more attractive for the community that of the residents there. The other one over at the Catholic Church is a fine proposal as far as I'm concerned. Thank you.
Okay, and my comments are similar. In terms of the lighting, I think we would all feel more comfortable if there was a photometric plan that could show us that even at that 22-foot height, we're not getting spilling over into the creek area. In terms of the planting at the Linden facility, I'm not sure who picked the clematis. I have never had that be a happy plant, ever. I would recommend changing both materials that you have there. If you could consider maybe something more like a trumpet vine would eat that. You'd have a nice solid green, easy to take care of, happy plant. And then in the front of it, you have the Rhaphiolepis indica. If you changed it to the Rhaphiolepis umbellata minor, which would match what they have already going on around the school, then it would look really more consistent, and it's going to be just as durable and just as happy as they're both super hardy plants. It grows a little slower, but no big deal. And then over at the Meadowbrook facility, I would venture to guess there would be some economy of scale if you're already buying these 8-foot sections of this more attractive fencing. Perhaps it could be included to be used over at the other facility, and then with the addition of that same vine, that could cover it and make that a nice solid green wall too, with very little inputs from anyone. I think it might be worth considering doing that. So this is here for preliminary/final. I don't think we can do final because of the photometric, because I think you'll have to come back for that, but I can try to put together a motion for preliminary. Grant the project preliminary approval and come back with a photometric study for the lighting at the creek side. I think that's the only side of the building we would need to see, so we could just be focused on that. Revised fencing type at the Meadowbrook facility with the inclusion of some landscape materials, and revised plant materials at the Linden facility.
If I make a suggestion towards moving on to making a final decision, is that we can condition the review of a photometric design, since we know the types of lights.
Yeah.
And if they can provide us a photometric site, it'll go into the review of the Planning Commission with your recommendations, and we can bring it back to you as a matter by staff so that you can see it.
That'd be fine with me.
Yeah, photometric plan, but I'd also like to see the revised landscape plan. Okay.
Yeah.
We can, all that as conditions of final approval, that we would see the photometric, revised fencing at the Meadowbrook facility, including landscaping, and revised landscaping at the Linden facility.
Okay,
Great.
so can we,
Are
let me
you-
repeat, is that a motion?
That is a motion.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll
If I
second
may
it.
repeat it back to you.
One question for clarification. So I've heard a couple of conflicting, I think, understandings of the fence at St. Joe's Church, which is not a wrought iron fence. So are you suggesting that the style of the fence is what we're hoping for at?
My
site, or is it-
understanding is that you are repeating the existing fencing that's there. I would be comfortable using that existing fencing for both facilities,
Okay, and that's the motion?
if that's okay with
Yeah,
you.
that's perfect.
Okay.
Yes. Just want to clarify.
Are you, who's going to second?
Yes, second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Thank you for bearing with us.
Thanks for
on
coming.
that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
So now we have to go do the rest.
Yeah. No, it's really, it was the,
Chair Blakemore,
not-
we've completed our agenda. We have no other business to discuss.
how about, yeah, so no other business, nothing on the consent calendars, no matters referred by planning commission, no matters by staff, matters presented by board members, anything? You have something? No. Okay, you're just waiting to say hi? And attendance of the, no, he's just taking a quick break. Next board you guys can go here. Attendance of next meeting, when is our next?
We,
So it might be a while for our next meeting right now. So the 29th has been canceled. May 29th has been canceled. June 12th is also looking like it's going to be canceled.
I'll be gone anyway.
Also June 26th.
Holy cow.
We don't have anything on the agenda yet for July 17th. And we do have 2 items slated for July 31st. So
So the 17th is the,
July 17th is potentially the next meeting, unless in between now and then we come up with something to put on, yeah, July 17th.
we might have a couple of projects coming our way. So
yes, is it in the board or after the board? Shall I adjourn, or is it a,
Oh,
okay, so I'm going to go ahead and adjourn the meeting. So we'll clip Zoom. And we're done? Okay. Thank you.